If it's happening in sports, it's happening on Sirius XM.
Welcome to a magical place where all your fantasies come true.
It's Playboy Fantasy Football on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio.
The way you move.
We are kicking off week 9 here of the fantasy football season on Playboy Fantasy Football. I am Chris Anthony from fantasyomatic.com. And I am joined here in the studio. This, by the way, guys, greatest situation ever. We're sitting in here, this beautiful studio. I got two gorgeous girls talking fantasy football, and listen real closely.
I love this music. It gives me goosebumps. Me and Jamie were talking about that before. It does. It really gets you going.
Football music. Well, it's joining me, Chris Anthony from Fantasyomatic. I've got Bonnie Jill Laughlin.
Hello,
Bonnie Jill,
hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
You had a big week. We look
Yes,
forward
I've
to
had a
talking
very
to you
busy
about.
week.
And also joining us, by the way, before we get started with Bonnie Jill's big week, in the Playmate chair tonight, Miss May 2012 and host of Sirius XM Radio's Playmates Presents, Nikki Lee.
Well, hello.
Nice to see you, Nikki.
It's very nice to be here. You guys are rocking.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, you're excited about your Chargers tonight, aren't you?
I am. I'm watching them, and they are kicking ass.
And your dad's a season ticket holder, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he's probably stoked. He's there,
yeah.
right?
No, he's actually not. He's at home. He had work.
Oh.
But, yeah, no, he's definitely stoked. If I call him tonight, I will definitely get some presents.
Let that be a lesson.
Just let your dad be happy.
That is very true. My dad's the same way. When his
Right.
teams are winning, he's happy.
Exactly.
Well, when my teams are winning, I'm happy too. And I'm happy to report that I had a sweep this weekend.
Congratulations.
Oh, aren't you even curious what a sweep is?
I know what it is, but yeah, sure. Why don't you tell
Well,
everyone else?
thank you for the congratulations. I appreciate that. But for the listener, that means that I won in all my fantasy leagues, and my Packers won. And I may have two other glorious victories to gloat about later on in the show today, perhaps. Aren't you guys
So
happy?
that's good.
I'm very happy
That's
for
why
you.
a lot of people need to be going to Fantasyomatic, too, because you've been...
Okay.
Ass.
This is
Taking
apparently,
names.
they had a good bye week, and looks like Norv Turner's going to have a job for at least 5 more days. And fantasy-wise, we got some interesting things going on here. Matt Castle got the start. He's got 181 yards and an interception.
What happened to Brady Quinn? See?
Well, you're right. Brady Quinn's got the soft melon. We had a theory off air that we were thinking that he wants to be a career backup quarterback. I want to be a
You know
backup
what's funny,
quarterback.
though, is I was a big fan of his when he was at Notre Dame. And I
because
thought
he's
he was,
dreamy.
I thought he is good looking, but I just thought he was a great quarterback in college, and that.
Oh, Brady. Well, I'm going to dress up as Brady Quinn for Halloween next week. Is that okay?
okay,
I'm going to do a New Jersey
perfect.
Halloween. Yeah, so
Perfect.
we'll do that. So, yeah, he didn't even
He
see
has
the
a
field.
concussion.
Yeah, he's got a concussion. But here's the one, and I'm very happy about this. I put a hex on Jamal Charles because I'm playing him in one of my leagues. Sorry, Jamal Charles owners out there. Love you. But 39 yards on 12 carries. It's not that he only got 5 carries. He got 12 of them, and he only produced 39
Shocking,
yards.
though.
How
And
does that happen?
he did nothing. Actually,
Yeah.
we were watching earlier, and I thought it was him, but it ends up that it was Dexter McCluster. Dexter McCluster, but he's only got 17 yards receiving. I don't know what's going on, but what I do know is that I'm probably going to be able to win my fantasy league. So, but for everybody else's league, you're probably happy if you've got Phil Rivers. I bet you didn't think someone was going to say that
Ever.
ever. 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, and only 1 interception, which is actually pretty impressive. And for those of you that followed me on Twitter, you earlier at Fantasyomatic, you saw me in deeper leagues tell you to pick up Alexander, a wide receiver for the Chargers, sort of a 1 week guy, 61 yards.
And you mentioned that earlier.
I mentioned that earlier. And of course, I'm starting Malcolm
That was
Floyd
a
in one of my
great
leagues.
prediction.
48 yards for Malcolm Floyd and a touchdown. Not bad,
Very good.
right?
Sounds like you're doing well.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm
Yes.
just asking for some affirmation here.
Let me dust that off your shoulder.
We'll, of course, check in with the game as the night goes on.
Yeah, only 3.
Well, actually,
almost
we've
3
only,
minutes
this
left.
one's going pretty quick, as a matter of fact. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, and we
The
look
Chargers cannot screw this up.
Yeah,
Let's hope not.
How dare you? Yes, let's not get too comfortable
on
with
wood.
them. But yeah, we've got a lot of show coming up. We'll finish up with some of the of our updates, and we'll also get to the chest bumps after our break here. But please give us a call. That's 888-963-2682 or on Twitter at SiriusXMFantasy. And we're going to be here on Playboy Fantasy Football. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. We'll be right back after these messages.
The sexiest fantasy football analysts are heard on Playboy Fantasy Football on Sirius X.
Appreciated. Well, we do have some important news to get to here with our injury news. Let's do a little My Thing is Broken.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
My thing is broken.
Yeah, and so's our board. Just kidding. Hey, Nikki. Oh. Nikki, help me out. I didn't get a chance to look at the injury report. What did you read today?
I'll help you out.
Okay.
All right. Darren Sproles, he was held out of today's practice with a hamstring injury.
Oh, that's
Very
interesting.
popular
Never good, the
injury.
hammy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be too much of a big deal because they have a Monday night game. So really, this week was sort of a pre-practice. I guess check back tomorrow and
It's
Saturday.
one of those keep tabs on it, but
Yeah.
he's going to play.
I think that you don't have to worry about him. But, again, this isn't the last day of the week. We always encourage people to check Friday practices. So that one I'm not too worried about. What else we got over there?
Well, Percy Harvin.
Yikes.
Yeah, he also has a hamstring injury.
Seems popular.
And was held out of a practice today after limited participation yesterday.
Yeah, but they're saying it was a family issue.
Yeah,
actually. It
so the
wasn't
Wednesday was a
hamstring.
family.
Yeah, so it's, I guess both.
So how does that work out?
So they're saying it's a slim chance that he's going to play because if he's got some distractions and the hamstring, it's
I guess it depends on the family issue, which of
not
course
good.
they won't say. But Leslie Frazier clarified that his absence from today's practice was due to a family issue. So I don't know if it's trending away from the hamstring.
That's what I'm wondering how severe the hamstring injury is.
Well, I guess
We
we'll
don't
find
know.
out on Friday.
But it sounded like the coach was saying slim chance from what I read.
Well, that is definitely something for Percy Harvin our owners to keep their eyes on.
All right, we also got Brandon Bolden.
Oh, right.
He
yes,
has a
Patriots.
bum knee and was absent from today's bye week practice.
Yeah, you got to, they're in a bye, but you got to keep an eye on which guys show up. Bolden's been kind of banged up. At this point, I think Shane Vereen's the guy who's going to be locked in as Ridley's change of pace back. Bolden's just not ready to come back.
Yeah, Ridley
right?
and Woodhead is maybe someone else. Too,
Yeah,
but
it's a crapshoot behind Ridley.
All right, so we have good news for Ryan Tannehill.
Oh.
He's out with a knee and quad injury, but handled all the first team reps in today's.
Yeah, that was surprising. Matt Moore, of course, is expected to start, but I think I heard, didn't the reports come out 50-50?
Yeah, I'm hearing 50-50.
Yeah.
And he had his knee drained 2 times this week. And they said, so they're saying his mobility's better. But, yeah, no fun. But I think he may end up being under center.
Yeah, well, I say there's a 50% chance.
Yeah.
How's that for me going out on a limb?
All right, we have Aaron Hernandez.
Ooh, one of my guys.
He has an ankle injury. I'm sorry, man.
Tell me about it.
But he was not spotted in the media access portion of today's bye week practice.
Yeah, that's another guy. Same thing with Brandon Bolden. But that makes me a little bit nervous because, well, I won't get nervous till next week.
Well, his wife is pregnant, too.
Oh.
So they're saying that there's a bunch of, again.
Maybe that's why he didn't go to London.
Remember we talked about that?
Remember.
And then he didn't even.
I got
take the
hosed
plane
on
there.
that deal. Yeah, unfortunately. Well, that's good. Yeah, I guess we'll keep an eye on him, and then we'll see if his wife shows up on the injury report next week as well. Also. No,
All right.
Nothing? You just
what?
letting that one drop?
I'm
made it
just
funny.
I know. I was waiting for the drop too because apparently I get
right.
interrupted every
I'm
freaking
sorry.
time.
You
man.
carry on. You carry
Jesus,
on.
man. All right. Well, we have Ahmad Bradshaw with that lingering foot injury.
Enough with the foot.
But he returned to a limited practice today.
Well, who knows what
Coughlin
that
is getting so frustrated.
How
with
can
this,
he not?
too.
I mean,
this injury
I'm
is
frustrated
just
with it.
lingering forever, and he's had some monster performances in week 5 and 6, and then now we can't see a healthy Bradshaw, which we all know is so important to the Giants.
He's got great prospects for the rest of the season. I think things are going to look good for him if he can just get healthy. Who knows? And we don't know what to tell you as far as who's playing behind him. Likely Brown. Who knows when Wilson's going to come back on the scene? So we'll see what happens. He's been playing through the injury. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He is going to play, but we might have a problem there. So yeah, I guess more to come on that. But his per carry average has dropped from in weeks 5 to 6. It was 5.5 or something like that, and he's down to like 3.5. So playing through the injury is not working from a fantasy perspective either.
Well, we also have DeMarco Murray.
Of course.
He was a no-show today due to his foot.
Yeah, I don't think
sprained
that was
foot.
too much of a surprise. Bonnie Jill, what's your
But
perspective
Stephen
on that?
Jones has said many times that they really want to be cautious. He could play, but they've got to be cautious with him.
Now,
So
Stephen told you that
Yes.
personally? Yes. Okay, well, I'm going with
I
Bonnie
think
Jill.
everyone knows I'm the friends with the Jones family. So of course I'm going to get some inside information.
We appreciate that. Keep that inside information coming.
All right. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Stop interrupting.
You know, I know.
know,
I just don't
jeez.
like how you're just interrupting me today. I'm just kidding. It's all good because Donald Brown has a knee injury.
Oh, I thought he was
And-
okay.
Well, you know, he was downgraded to out. First
Oh.
was downgraded on Wednesday, and now he's out today.
Well, hopefully he can
Picks it back up.
go. Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
full go on Wednesday. So I don't know what's going on there. Bonnie Jill,
But
do you
they're
know the
saying
Brown
also
family?
that-
I know.
By chance?
But they're saying that Vic Ballard and Brown are going to share the workload.
Yeah,
Have you
that's
heard that as well?
Yeah, and we, you know, we were
which is funny
touting.
because Ballard was the topic of conversation
God.
2 weeks ago.
Well, thank God he's coming around with some value. He ran strong. I think it's just because he did that cool highlight reel play for a touchdown. That's why he's getting the 50-50.
and we talked about him all the time.
So this might be good things for Vic Ballard if Donald Brown is actually out for the game. So we'll see how that pans out.
We got Des Bryant with a hip injury. I
Yeah.
guess he's an old man, but he returned to practice today. Congratulations to Des.
Yeah, anybody
It's
who's
disappointing for the Cowboys, but he should play as well.
yeah, if you saw him catch that pass, then you know why his hip is sore. Made my hip sore
Yeah.
seeing that. Yeah.
Well, we have Coach Jason Garrett said that Felix Jones, aka Fragile Felix, is battling a shoulder issue in addition to his
Really?
ongoing knee woes.
Yeah, we call Jason Garrett Red. That's his nickname.
Oh, so Red was
So,
saying
yeah.
that
Okay, so
fragile.
Red.
Yeah, and Red says that he's, everyone in the Cowboy organization knows that I hate to label him, but he's that injury prone football player that
By definition, honestly, he really is. I would say this kind of puts Philip Tanner on kind of a deep sleeper radar for fantasy
I
purposes.
would agree with you on that.
We have Mikel Lashore with a leg injury, but he returned today to practice, so that's pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
And Bell could be an option as well.
Yeah, Bell. I think a lot of people are picking up Bell. He's getting, especially in PPR, he's really active in the passing game there too.
Greg Jennings underwent surgery today to prepare his rectus abdominal tear.
Gross.
And in case you guys were worried, don't worry. He was sending live Twitter updates with photos and everything.
He tweeted,
Yeah.
surgery went well, tweeps. So
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting us know. We were all worried and on the edge of our seats.
I was
Well, I
afraid to
know
click
right
on the
here,
picture.
you
Oh, I
are.
was. Well, I'm also a
Go,
Randall
Pack,
Cobb
go.
owner, so from a fantasy perspective. So I don't mind if he takes his time. We just want him to be healthy for when we trade him to the Chiefs next year.
When you're tweeting, you're okay.
Yeah, right.
Because I know after surgery, I am not tweeting.
I know, right? I would be, I don't know what, you're
I
still
get
drugged
I get a
up
paper
or-
cut and I'm not tweeting.
Yeah, yes, fair enough. I can appreciate
Are you sure
that.
you don't let everybody know? You don't take a picture of it and go, oh, my boo-boo.
No, I don't. I'm like crying and my dog's like, "Are you
Hashtag
okay?"
boo-boo.
Oh, hashtag boo-boo, exactly. Speaking of another boo-boo, Wes Welker has an ankle injury, but seemed to stroll through the Patriots locker room without a limp on Wednesday.
Yeah,
But
I read he
what
had a
about
gangster lean.
today? Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they said when he was on the bench, he
lean
was
back.
smiling. And again, you're not going to be smiling if you're
Yeah,
that.
so, but what
It's
about
too
today?
serious.
What was he doing today? Do we know?
Well, he's probably cruising around. They don't have, a game. They have a bye, so just
Yeah.
like Hernandez and Bolden. So I didn't
Which is
see
nice that
anything
they
today.
give those guys a bye after traveling to London.
Maybe today was when he had the gangster lean. That possibly could have been it. But yeah, and I bet you we have a ton more on the injury list, don't we?
Oh,
over
yeah,
there?
we do.
Well,
We do.
Yeah,
We
I'll
gotta
tell
get
you
to
what.
those.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're looking forward to taking some calls as well, but we're gonna, we want to make sure to get to all the injury stuff.
Sure,
So
you need to know this.
yeah, when we get back from our break, we're going to do a little bit more of the injuries, take some of the calls. And the phone number is 888-963-2682. And that's 888-XM Fantasy. You can also hit us up on Twitter because Nikki's going to be watching on Twitter, aren't you?
Tweet me, baby. Tweet me.
Tweet me. That's how the kids do it. Is it tweet at me or is it tweet me? I can never get that right.
I
Tweet
don't
me.
know.
For us old men
Tweet
who
me.
answered the
Tweet
phone,
me, Twitterland.
Twitterland.
I want
right.
updates on everything you're doing. I want to see your food you're eating.
So that'll be at Sirius XM Fantasy. So we'll look forward to getting to all these things for you guys. That'll be right after the break. But first,
Now it's your fantasy fix.
XM Fantasy Sports Radio
Fantasy Fix.
I'm Lamont, Germany. Fantasy football. Thursday night, a good night for the right arm of Phillip Rivers.
Floyd wide left, Alexander wide right. Shotgun snap, Rivers to throw. Looking end zone for Floyd, twisting. Got it! Inside the pylon. Touchdown, San Diego!
Now available on demand. Yes! Go to SiriusXM.com/on-demand.
It's not every day you get to talk to a playmate. It's every week on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Now back to Playboy Fantasy Football.
Oh, we are rolling right along on Playboy Fantasy Football here on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. I am Chris Anthony from fantasyomatic.com, and I am joined by Bonnie. Yes, thank you. I'm joined here by Bonnie Jill Laughlin and Nikki Lee. You guys, I think it's going to be time for us to go to our first caller of the night. Hey, Dane.
Dane, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm fine. How about you?
Good, man. Thanks for giving us a call. What can we do for you?
Well, I need some help with my lineup, or at least an opinion on whether I'm doing it correctly. I've got two positions. I need a choice between Tony Romo and Josh Freeman at quarterback. And I've got two defenses between Miami and Seattle.
Okay.
Well, for the quarterback, I'm going to go with Freeman, even though Romo is a Cowboy and I'm a Cowboys fan. You got to go with the smarts of it and logical, and that's Freeman for me.
Yeah, way to go with the head, not the heart. Yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
Yes. Well, how about them Buccaneers?
Yes. How great are they looking now?
Josh Freeman's been on fire. He's a good bye week filler. I guess you could consider him that this week. So
they're going up against Oakland, and the Cowboys are going up against the Falcons. So if you just look even at matchups.
Yeah, I think the matchups significantly favor Freeman. Oakland's the sixth easiest matchup. They are possibly getting Ron Bartell back this week, but still, that's not going to make them as tough of a matchup as Atlanta's secondary is. And you said you had a defensive start question as well.
Yeah, between Miami and Seattle, with Seattle being at home.
Yeah, Seattle's at home against
Minnesota.
Seattle's at home against Minnesota. I have them just a couple ranking points difference on fantasyomatic.com. I'm actually starting Seattle this week with confidence.
I'm going to say Seattle defense.
Yeah, although I do like Miami. You hold on to Miami. They got a couple patsies coming up down later on in the schedule, so I think you're going to be in good shape there. So definitely good luck this week on that. How about Twitter, Nikki? Any questions on Twitter?
We do have a question from VIP Strippers.
Is that the...
It says at VIP Strippers.
Is that a sponsor?
Sweetheart, I have no idea.
You just reading them.
I'm just reading it, okay,
It's
Lovey?
sweet.
All right, well, we have PPR, pick 3. Wayne, Colston, AJ Green, Wallace, Decker.
Okay. Bonnie Jill.
Definitely Wayne.
Definitely Wayne. He's got Richard Marshall, who can be beat. That's who's covering him. They're going against Miami. Miami can stop the run like nobody's business.
Yes.
But they can't stop the pass.
They can't stop the pass at
So
all.
definitely Reggie Wayne, and I think Mark Colston as well. Even though he's going against Philly and he's got Nnamdi, Nnamdi can actually be beat this year. I know that's weird. I actually like that show being a shootout, or a game being a shootout like crazy. I say Wayne, Colston, and Mike Wallace.
Yeah, and even though I like Decker, you got to go with Wallace instead.
Yeah, definitely going. Yeah. You do like Decker, but I'm a little worried about his matchup against Terrence Newman.
That's the only thing is the matchup with Newman.
Yeah, although there's going to be a lot of throwing. I still like Manning. I know it sounds weird, but just Decker's matchup, D. Thomas is going to be the
earlier
guy.
someone tweeted us RG3 or Manning, and without a doubt, I said Manning.
Yes. Right, I agree,
Manning.
and you're gonna hear a lot of the Manning as we go along here. Pam, you calling from my home state of Wisconsin?
Yes, it's true.
Oh yeah, how you doing, Cheesehead?
Good.
I wanted to make sure to answer your question. What's your question for us from a fantasy perspective?
I mean, I have a lot of questions, but my main one is Cam or Ben this week for my quarterback.
Ooh, I'll tell you what. I'm a big Ben owner myself, and I've been riding him all year, and I know you have too. You've been really excited about him, right? But you drafted Cam Newton as your number one, didn't you?
Yeah, it was actually like an automatic. So.
Yes, but he went much higher than Ben did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. This is the week that Cam is going to become your friend again.
Yeah.
Cam Newton.
going against Washington and Pittsburgh at New York.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a
Pittsburgh's
tough,
at New
tough
York,
matchup.
and also they don't have a hotel. They have to wait and travel on Sunday. They're traveling on the day of the game because of the New York hotel situation.
That's right.
I know that's kind of weird, but this is what I'm going to tell you, Pam. Cam Newton's going against Washington. Washington has given up 5,000 yards to opposing passers so far. That's 3 miles, I think. Is that 3 miles? I'm not good at the math, but...
Nerd alert!
Oh, right, it's 3 miles. So, but there's nobody that's going to be able to cover him. I expect really big things from him. You can put him back on your bench after that and go back to Ben, but this week, for sure, you're definitely going to want to go with our boy Cam Newton for a bounce back. You got any problems with that one,
I
Bonnie
agree
Jo?
with you.
How about you, Nikki?
I think she should do that.
You're not a...
They hate that team.
Well, that's
took their team.
Pretty doable. Injury stuff to deal with, nothing too major.
What about the Bucks secondary?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I always like pointing out secondaries that are kind of banged up because you can, start all your wide receivers against them. Buccaneers could be without Eric Wright, who's got an Achilles issue, in addition to just losing Aqib Talib, who's already suspended. But this isn't up for Denarius Moore in the Oakland passing game, if you ask me. I love me some Denarius Moore this week. I might even have him number 1 on my fantasy site. I haven't done my updates yet.
You always like him.
I do, yes, because he's consistent. He catches the long ball. The kid is solid. And by the way, Lions defense. Ooh, boy. The Jaguars are playing them. You've heard of the Jaguars,
Yeah, I've
right?
heard of them. Every now and then I hear about them.
The Lions are super beat up. Louis Delmas, corner Bill Bentley's out now.
Too many
Linebacker,
players.
yeah, too many players. I think this is good news for Rashad Jennings. Maybe even your boy Gabbard if he gets in there.
Yeah.
You love him.
Blackman, remember you gave me hell, which I can't believe I picked him in the beginning of the season.
I know,
but-
and I'm embarrassed about that. But what we expected
But
is
we
what's
all
happening.
thought he was going to be good.
We did. We'll have to revisit that again at the end of the season because that was one of our bold predictions.
Yeah.
But Cecil Shorts is really taking over what's happening there. So I like Cecil Shorts a lot as a result of this, and we'll talk more about him. And kind of an injury alert that I found. Cornerbacks Rasheed Mathis and Derek Cox were downgraded from limited participation on Wednesday to no activity today. So that means good news for Calvin Johnson and possibly Matthew Stafford as well. So I think that's it. Anything else over there injury-wise?
Nope, that about sums it up.
Okay, well, wanted to make sure to get that very important information to you guys. And we're going to continue with taking your calls. We've got a lot of calls lined up here. So when we come back, we're going to do more calls here. That if you want to join us, that's 888-963-2682. And on Twitter, that's @SiriusXM Fantasy here on Playboy Fantasy Football.
The ultimate male fantasy is now a reality. It's Playboy Fantasy Football, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, Sirius 210 XM 87.
Now available on
Top of the right tackle. You're listening to the Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. And down he goes, Von Miller.
Whether your fantasy football team is flying high or down in the dumps, you can talk to a Playboy Playmate every week on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Now back to Playboy Fantasy Football.
Listening to Playboy Fantasy Football. This is Chris Anthony from fantasyomatic, joined by Bonnie Jill Laughlin. You're right.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Hey, hey, Jordan. What can we do for you, buddy?
Oh, well, I'm currently 7-1. I'm trying to see if I should mess with my team or not. I got a couple trade offers.
Okay.
And, I don't know if I can run down my team real quick or just give you the trade offers.
Yeah, well, actually, what's your trade offer? And then maybe we can get some context from you as to what else you have.
He's asking for Torrey Smith, the wide receiver from Baltimore, and Owen Daniels for Jimmy Graham.
No,
I wouldn't take that.
No, I got a little insight on Torrey Smith. I worked somebody in my league because he had 3 horrible matchups in a row and then a bye. So I softballed some guy to get Torrey Smith because the matchups that Torrey Smith has in the playoffs are sickalicious. I'm telling you, hold on to him. Because you're really going to dig it. He's actually got Washington in Week 14, Denver, and then the Giants. And in between now, he's got Cleveland this weekend, which he should be able to bounce back. He'll get some value. And Owen Daniels.
And I like Owen Daniels.
I like Owen Daniels. And I'm a Jimmy Graham owner. I would rather have than and Owen Daniels has some good matchups too. He's got Detroit, Tennessee, New England, and Minnesota coming up. So yeah, just say no to that trade and enjoy your 7-1 start. I wish I was 7-1.
That's pretty nice. I wish I was too.
Yeah, 6-2 is not too bad though, either.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of hey, easy.
Hey now.
Hey, Ryan from Detroit Rock City.
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
All right. Oh, AJ, what can we do for you?
Hi.
How you doing, AJ?
Yeah, well,
Matt Schwab or Carson Palmer?
As a start this week, Matt Schaub or Carson Palmer?
Yeah, I got Tom Brady on a bye.
Tom Brady on a bye. As a matter of fact, I like Matt Schaub quite a bit. Nikki, what do you think about Matt Schaub?
Well, he's been a viable backup quarterback all season, and now it's time for him to start him.
I think so. He's got the best matchup of the season against who?
Buffalo?
Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, I agree. Aren't they like the number one?
Yeah, the easiest matchup.
Yeah, you go with Matt Schaub. He's a perfect backup replacement for Tom Brady, if you ask me.
I've never been a fan of Palmer, so that's
I kind of I just like that they're throwing a lot there personally, but I love that matchup.
Last year I called him the Rusty Palmer when he came back. It sounds like a drink, right?
Maybe a drink. At PG-13, that does sound like a drink. Yes, you're absolutely right. Anybody on Twitter? What are the tweets saying?
I know. What are the tweets saying? Let's see. I don't see any right now, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We just had that VIP strippers.
Yeah, that's right. I think that was just a plug. More trade questions here. Kevin, you got a trade?
Yeah, I do. It's actually a two-part trade. I would trade and Jarvis Green Ellis for Decker on Denver.
I like that.
And then I'd turn around and trade Julio Jones for Alfred Morris and Torrey Smith.
How are you doing? Okay, Julio for Alfred Morris.
Yeah.
How are you doing on running back right now?
I'm weak. I got Ray Rice as my starter.
Okay.
The second one is weak. I got Fred Jackson, and I had Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, with who I could definitely do that other trade.
But then you're going to end up with Torrey Smith and Ray Rice starting each
Correct.
week, right?
It's my third or fourth. We only start two with the 10-league, not PPR.
Okay.
Start Decker and either Jordy Nelson or Miles Austin. And then, but I strengthen my running back, which has been pretty.
Yeah, I think you need to do that just from a running back standpoint. You probably don't need the Ben Jarvis Green. Well, actually, if you have somebody that's going to give you Decker for Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, you do that. What am I thinking? Yeah. You don't need. You can make up for it. Alfred Morris. I would do the Alfred Morris trade first, and then do the BGE one, just in case that falls through and you end up with just Green Ellis.
Okay, I would get Decker instead of Green Ellis.
Yes, you'd be giving Green Ellis and to get Decker.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely do that.
All right, sounds great.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, what's going on with these good trade offers?
I know, really good trade offers.
Something's creepy. I think they know that we're going to talk about trades later in the show.
And I remember I liked all the different kind of.
I like the two-way thing there.
Yes,
that was cool. He's schmoozing. Usually, what happens is sometimes I'll pick up somebody in a trade and then I'll just flip them. I'll turn them right around and give them to someone else, knowing that
sometimes we get the trade questions where it's an automatic. We don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, we don't even need to know the other side.
Think about it.
Well, we're going to probably have a lot of trade questions because the trade deadline is coming up, and we're going to talk about trades later in the show. But keep your questions coming at 888-963-2682. And, of course, Nikki wants to hear from you on Twitter at SiriusXMFantasy. But, yeah, right. Usually it's someone getting manhandled in a trade question. So far, none of those, but, the night is still young. Of course. We're going to probably, I'll tell you what, my philosophy, and I'll give you a little preview as to what we're going to be talking about later, is trade like crazy. Because I'm all about the matchups, and the matchups, I don't know the matchups till the season has already started. So once we get around to the meat of the season, I like just shuffling people around, and people that I think I might play in this playoffs, I'll just trade and grab players that I'm afraid of.
And how quick is the season con?
I'm so sad.
November 1st.
When I was driving in today, I got sad because we're going to be in double digits.
Yeah, and we're going to have to really start helping people be able to get in the playoffs.
Oh, we're going to be talking all playoff stuff for sure.
There's no crying in football.
There is no crying in fantasy football radio either, mind you.
Yeah, so no crying.
No crying
in December from you.
No crying in December from me. Yes, but I will be excited that I'm going to be in the playoffs. That's what I'm going to be so happy about. Right? Aren't we all?
Yes. We'll all be in the playoffs.
Of course we're going to be in the playoffs. Playoffs, yeah.
I'll be rooting for Bonnie Jill.
And so will you guys. And, of course, we're going to have all sorts of good information for you. Again, 888-963-2682. You're listening to Playboy Fantasy Football.
Running back Maurice Jones-Drew.
Touchdown! Maurice Jones-Drew!
I get my fantasy football news and information right here on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Holy cow! This is is the SiriusXM Sports Update.
Badly needing a win to quiet the critics, the Chargers personified team effort on Thursday Night Football against the Chiefs.
Pass rush coming. Castle stands, floats it over the middle. It's picked off.
Yes. How's Twitter going?
Oh, well, we have...
You know what, Bonnie Jill? That's awesome. I love the Josh Freeman thing.
Our wide receivers out is Brandon Lloyd and Michael Crabtree.
That's
How
right.
great has Michael Crabtree been doing? I'm sorry, I know I'm always pushing my teams, but he has. I mean, because I was not a fan of him. We actually said last year on the show, did you remember this?
Touchdowns don't grow on Crabtrees? I love that line.
Yeah, and I wasn't a big fan of him, you know, how he entered, you know, holding out and the whole deal. But now, gosh, he's really coming into his own and proving everyone wrong.
He's a sell high.
Yeah.
I say sell him now on his buy, or maybe if he comes back, you're not going to get better value out of him.
We always talk about it.
Yeah,
that's when you sell your players.
This is when you sell them at the top of their value. So I think while Crabtree's on buy, but who do we start instead of him?
I like Brandon LaFell. I don't know how
if he's healthy, assuming he's healthy.
It's always the healthy factor, but I think that he's someone against matchups again.
Huge matchup.
Redskins secondary.
Yeah, D'Angelo Hall didn't get suspended because of that referee thing.
No, he's going to get fined, but he's not going to be suspended.
Right.
Even though he said the ref was talking John off to him. Did you read that?
Yeah.
He was saying stuff to me.
Well, D'Angelo Hall actually said, I'm not a criminal. I've never been in trouble with the law. I'm a great guy.
Yeah.
Like I said off the field, I'm a different person. You know what I mean?
And the Redskins gave up 24 points to opposing wide receivers.
Yeah, and they've given up 3 miles of passing yardage in the air so far this season. So, yeah, I like that a lot. I'm all over Brandon LaFell. Watch the injury report on that one, though, for sure. I like me some Cecil Shorts.
Why did I know you're going to say that?
I don't know. Because Detroit's secondary is really banged up. I'm not much of a guy that looks at what guys have been doing so far. I'm more about what they're doing moving forward. And moving forward, Cecil Short, who has been active, he's on the fantasy radar. He got 11 points versus Oakland and 11 more last week versus Green Bay, which, of course, I saw that. But he gets a really sweet defense a matchup against the Detroit banged-up defense. And Bill Bentley's actually going to be out for this game.
Yes.
So the best-case scenario is he would have had Bill Bentley. They're going to go with the backup there, and Shorts is going to be the recipient. He is only one of 5 pass catchers in the NFL to see 10 or more targets in each of his last 2 games, so he's definitely getting used.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game for him.
I think so.
Who else do you like?
Probably Andre Roberts, just because they're going up against Green Bay. A little bit banged up. No Charles Woodson back there. I expect Arizona to be throwing for 4 quarters. And why is that, Nikki? Because they're going to be losing.
They're going to have to put the ball in the air, air it out.
Throw to catch up. And Roberts has seen 20 targets over the past 2 weeks, and the Packers have allowed the 11th most fantasy points to wide receivers. So I think it's a good recipe.
Our running backs, Stephen Ridley, Sean Green, Steven Jackson, and Frank Gore are out.
Yeah, that's a lot. Those are a lot of starters, yeah.
I like Jonathan Dwyer.
I love Jonathan Dwyer this week.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone that has been exploding every game. I mean, he's just been...
The injuries
amazing.
are adding up for him, too.
Yeah, but he's been pretty consecutive 100 yards.
Yeah.
So I think that he's someone you definitely have to look at.
And the Giants allow like 4.5 yards a carry or something.
Yeah, but definitely explosive. I like him.
Yeah, and I think they're going to I think even when Mendenhall comes back, that Dwyer's going to have a role carved out for himself.
Yeah, and I know that they're playing... Are they playing in New York?
Yeah, because remember the hotel thing.
Oh, yes, we talked about that. Yeah. So it's in New York.
Yep.
That's the only bad thing, but I still think he's going to have a good game.
I'm with you. We were talking about Rashad Jennings as a pickup a couple weeks ago. Solid pickup, probably blew your whole fab budget on him, but he's been kind of disappointing since he took over for MJD. But he faces the Lions, who again I said were really banged up. They kind of have a decent run defense, but one of the big reasons that you love Rashad Jennings, especially in PPR, is that he excels in the passing game. So if you've probably been getting good production from a passing game. He's been targeted on 17 passes and caught 13 of them. That's pretty amazing, and that's like over 100 yards if I'm not mistaken. My math ain't so good. Those receiving yards are a big reason why I would say start him as a PPR guy as a flex. So I kind of like him a lot.
And then I know me and you spoke about this. We like Bell as well.
Yeah, on the other side of the ball in that same game, Bell, LaShore kind of, I think he's off the injury report, if I'm not mistaken. But Bell is averaging 4.8 yards a carry. 4.8 carries a game and 3.3 catches a game, even with LaShore in there. So I think he's a sneaky guy in a deep leaguer as a flex.
We have tight ends, Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez, and Vernon Davis.
Oh, I'm Listen, you're going to hear a theme here. Go with Greg Olsen.
Yeah, remember he was my sleeper a couple weeks ago.
That was a great sleeper. He's been struggling a little bit, but the Redskins have allowed more than seven fantasy points to the tight end position in all but one game, and they've yielded 80% more fantasy points to the tight end than the league average over the past 3 weeks. That's ridiculous. They're just getting gashed. I think this is a bounce-back week for Greg Olsen. I'm starting him in 2 leagues.
And I also like Dwayne Allen. I don't know what you think about him.
Oh, yeah, because Kobe Fleener's injured.
Yeah, he's injured.
That's right. He's out.
So I think he's going to have a big, Dwayne Allen should have a really big game.
Well, yeah, because they've been kind of using both of them. Like, Fleener was kind of a sleeper, but they've been using Allen and Fleener.
And they're both rookies, you know.
They're both rookies.
So this is maybe Allen's time to kind of shine and say, hey, I should be taking more of the workload.
Well, that's a pretty hefty workload, too. Luck's been, they've combined for almost 60 targets through 7 games, so I think Allen will see a lot of those.
Yeah, I do too.
Looks this week. Yeah, it's a good call.
Well, I think Jermaine Gresham.
Yeah, I actually think Jermaine Gresham is a good one as well. What is he going against? Denver?
Yeah, Denver is allowing the third most fantasy points per game to the tight end position, including 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a good, juicy matchup.
Yeah, it is a great matchup for him. After he was a bust, with Pittsburgh in week 7 with only 19 yards.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming. They're a much different defense than Denver. So, yeah, that's a good call.
Right. Thank you.
Good
I
call,
just
Nikki.
wanted to throw that in there.
Appreciate
it. And then we have our defense special teams this week. It's Patriots, Jets, and the Niners.
Yeah, those people are going to be missing the Niners. Who do we put in there instead?
Big time.
Definitely.
I'm going to say the Lions.
Yeah, Lions against Jacksonville.
I mean, the matchup.
The matchup is solid. I like them as a 1 week.
And the Jags give up 1 fumble, 3 sacks a game.
Yeah,
and score less than 15 points. A game on offense, which we all know that.
Yeah, the Lions are away, but I think they're injured and they're banged up, but still the Jags can actually give up some of those turnovers. So depending on how your scoring works, and I just want to point out that on my website under my bye week flyers on fantasyomatic that I told everyone. Thank you. I told everyone to start the Chargers, and that ended up being a pretty solid.
That was a good choice.
Yeah, I mean,
are you sure you said that before or after the
you
game?
can go look at the published date on fantasyomatic.com, and you can call me out on Twitter if I'm lying to you. Or you can say thank you on Twitter, which is always nice for helping you guys this evening. So actually, we're going to be right back after this break here on Playboy Fantasy Football. I'm Chris Anthony from fantasyomatic.com with Nikki Lee, Bonnie Jill Laughlin, and we'll be right back.
2 of the world's greatest things come to
Fantasy Sports Radio.
It's Playboy Fantasy Football on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Rolling right along here. Week 9 of the fantasy football season here on Playboy Fantasy Football. Give us a call, 888-963-2. Step aside for a moment because I'm going to take this call. Line 3, Grace.
Hi.
Oh, this is a new record.
We had 2 females. The first time we've had 2 females call. I love it. Thanks for calling, Grace.
Yeah, Grace, what can we do for you?
Okay, I feel like I have a weak wide receiver.
Okay.
And I have a lot more running backs, so I'm not sure if I should try to trade to upgrade my wide receivers.
Yeah, it's usually a good move. Who do you have?
I have Deshaun Jackson, Des Bryant, Mike Wallace.
Okay.
Who else do I have? Denarius Moore and Malcolm Floyd.
In order, I think you listed them in order.
Yeah, she did.
As a matter of fact, as far as their value is concerned. So you are deep at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And so who are your running backs that you're having to rely on?
My running backs are, Doug Martin, Stephen Ridley, Ruth McGahee, MJD, Jonathan Stewart, and Jonathan Dwyer.
You're fine. You're actually great. That's a solid running back core. You know what? I was ready to give you advice to help you turn this situation around, but I think you're going to be really happy with that running back core.
I actually like all the people.
Me too. Yeah. How many do you have to start each week, Grace?
I have three wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 1 flex, and a tight end.
Go 2 of those running backs, play the matchups every week, and then go with the wide receiver flex. You're going to be fine. Yeah, you're in great shape.
You're actually really good.
So you think my wide receivers are okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're deep at wide receiver. You're going to have to pay attention to matchups and stuff like that.
And injuries, because Dez, may not play.
Yeah, Dez may not play, but you still have a lot of depth there. And, you can tweet us or call us back each week if you want to get some help with the matchups. But you're in good shape. I sign off on you.
I like
just
your
sit and
lineup.
put.
Yep.
Good job, girlfriend.
Sounds good. I feel relief hearing from you guys.
Oh, good. Well, yeah. Well, we're always happy to have the easy ones.
Yeah,
and this
Grace,
was an
make sure
easy
you
one.
call back again.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Grace. Oh, that was a pretty easy one there, wasn't it?
I thought she was going to give us some really bad receivers.
Well, no, those were fantastic.
I know.
Hey, Ben, thanks for holding. What can we do for you, man?
Hey, yeah, no problem. I wanted to upgrade my running back core, so I have some trades I wanted to shoot by you.
Okay.
So this is what I was offered. I would be giving away Wes Welker. I'd be receiving Dwayne Bowe, Rashad Jennings, and Jonathan Dwyer. So that was not such a good trade, like you said earlier, because I'm getting 3 players for one.
Yeah, I think that applies here also. But the other thing is, I don't know. I'm not sure if I like you on the receiving end of that. Even if we threw a third player in there. Anyways, you said you had another trade. Let's explore what other option you might have.
This was my counter trade because I wasn't really digging that proposed trade. I'm trying to get Darren McFadden.
Yeah, good call.
Okay.
So I counter offered. I'd be receiving Darren McFadden and Dwayne Bowe, and I'd be giving away Reggie Bush and Wes Welker.
Can you get McFadden straight up for Bush?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Bush has a banged up knee, so I'm trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, unfortunately, that violates one of our rules of trading when they're low. But if someone's already interested in Bush actually has some pretty good matchups, but he can't hold a candle to what McFadden's got going on. If you think you can just go straight up Bush for McFadden, I would do that. But you don't want a piece of that Dwayne Bowe, and you got to hold on to Wes Welker.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do McFadden for Reggie Bush if I can.
Yeah. See if you can do that.
Yeah, let us know how that goes.
I will. Thanks, you guys.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate the call. And Jason, Tennessee, what can we help you out with?
Hey, guys. I actually got 2 questions.
All right. Fire away.
I dropped Michael Vick, and I found Tony Romo sitting on waivers, but I got Cam Newton. I'm wondering who to start this week.
Cam
Cam Newton, for sure.
I heard y'all talking about Cam Newton against Washington secondary.
You just can't ignore that. And he's all fired up, and they're trying to do what they can to move that playbook around a little bit, and they've had plenty of time to kind of adjust. But I absolutely love Cam Newton this week. I don't necessarily love Cam Newton every week.
No, but I think Smith's going to have a big game, and Olsen, I think they're all going to have a big game this week.
And he's going to be the beneficiary of that all around. And conversely, Tony Romo going up against Atlanta on the road, not totally in love with that.
Bueno.
Yeah, I think the obvious move here is to go with Cam Newton. You said you had another question also.
Yeah, in another league, I have Rashad Mendenhall, which is hurt, and then I got Jonathan Dwyer.
Good.
And he done good for me last week. But I'm wondering, Stephen Howling, what would he do against Green Bay's defense?
Oh, Larod Stevens Howling. See, Green Bay's defense, they have B.J. Raji back in the middle. They haven't been getting gashed or anything like that. I expected that Rashad Jennings was going to kind of have a better week than he did last week against Green Bay. Are you a PPR?
No.
Because the value for a running back going up against Green Bay's defense is when they're involved in the passing game. So yeah, I'm not totally in love with that start. I think you're okay going the other direction there.
I'm kind of hurting because Jamal Charles put up such a weak number.
I know. We were watching that game and really
I
shocked.
apologize.
I know you were happy
I was
about
cheering,
that.
only because I'm playing
shocked.
against them. I can't believe it.
How they contained
and
him.
he got 12 touches too. Something's definitely wrong, and I don't think Romeo Cornell knows the answer. So, yeah, I don't.
He didn't know last week either.
Right.
Remember
that's true.
his answer?
Yeah, so
go Jonathan Dwyer.
Go Jonathan Dwyer.
Yes.
We like him a lot, and we're not particularly fired up about running backs, a non-PPR going against Green Bay. So I think that's what you should do, and you should feel confident about it.
All right, thanks, guys.
You bet. Yeah, I think that's fair enough advice.
That was fair.
I'm sorry for all you guys that are Jamal Charles owners out there. I didn't mean to trade in your face earlier, but of course we wish everybody luck. Not the least of which is. Not the least of which was our buddy over on line 10. So just missed him. But more quarterback questions. Gary.
Hi there. Yes, hello.
Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Hey, Gary, are you in Jersey?
Yes, I am.
Are you all right out there, man? What's going on in Jersey? Are you underwater?
You know what? I'm actually doing okay. I'm in southern New Jersey, Cherry Hill, just outside of Philadelphia.
Outside of Philly.
We managed to dodge a lot of the damage. So, knock on wood, everything's okay in my area.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Well, we're glad the phone lines are working so we can help you out. What can we do for you?
Me too. Thanks. So I have both Big Ben and Eli, and I know they're playing each other this week. And I'm trying to decide who I want to start. I also own Mike Wallace and Hakeem Nicks. I don't know if that really factors into the decision or not.
Oh, that's interesting. Are you starting both those guys?
Yeah, I'm going to start. I started Malcolm Floyd, and it's funny. I was playing the hockey game tonight, and I just walked out and saw the score, and I saw I got a TD, so I'm pretty happy about that.
You did. That was a good call.
I'm going to go Eli Manning.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to agree with things. I know you own Big Ben, but
I own Big Ben, but I'm sitting him in that one particular league for Vic this week. And it sounds like you're going to double dip with the Hakeem Nicks or Mike Wallace either way, so you're going to be okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I'm a little worried about Ben going into New York. It's a great matchup normally. I'm just worried about this weird traveling on Sunday thing.
On the same day.
Totally goes against my grain.
And talk about superstitious.
That's pretty superstitious. I don't know. That's just kind of weird. I think Eli's at home. Pittsburgh can be thrown on. They're actually a really tough matchup, but
at least they're not wearing those ugly uniforms.
The bumblebee ones. Yeah, I would normally be all over Ben Roethlisberger, but I'm going to say I'm a little sketched out on that whole Sunday travel thing. I think it's going to be ending up being a big deal. So go with Eli Manning and enjoy the double dip with Hakeem.
Nerd alert!
Thank you. But enjoy that double dip with Hakeem.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get in the end zone because it's been quite a while since he has.
He's just getting healthy. This is going to be one of those weeks where he does, and trust me, he's got a stellar series of matchups for the playoffs. So sit tight. He's going to be worth the draft pick come December.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling,
All right, man.
Gary.
Stay dry out there. Lots more here on Playboy Fantasy Football. I'm Chris Anthony here with Nikki Lee and BJ Laughlin. You can join us by calling 888-963-2682, and we'll be right back after this.
It's the ultimate male fantasy. Playboy Fantasy Football on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Sirius 210 XM 87.
On with me Wednesday night from 9 to 11 Eastern on Sirius XM.